Hello everyone, Mark Anson Audio here. Today we're going to be looking at Drumlab, which is from Native Instruments and works through part of the Kontakt player. It is a hybrid of acoustic and electronic drum sounds that are for the quote-unquote modern production environment, aka lots of kind of big radio-friendly drum kits. So we're going to put it to the test and see what we think. Right, so here is the crux. There are some drum sounds. Okay, some drums so far, so what? Okay, so here is where it gets interesting. So if I click on my snare, what we have down here is a mix of two different samples. So it's not one sample that's been triggered, it's a mix of two. So if I drag this fader all the way up to acoustic, we're going to use this sample here. And likewise, if I drag it all the way to the bottom, we're going to be using the quote-unquote funky layer. So there are a handful of different sounds for each of those. So let's choose a trebly snare. I'll listen to that. Okay, and let's listen to some random electronic ones. So the idea is you find two and sort of blend them together. Very cool. Right. So in addition to this, the top layer, the acoustic layer, has some controls over here. So we have a mixture of top and bottom microphones. So you can get all raspy as we go to the bottom mic. Or nice and poppy as we go to the top mic. We can add in some bleed it into an overhead room mic. You can actually see up here, we've got stereo overheads, mono overhead, and a mono room. You can see that the metering on those goes up as we adjust that. We also have trash. This is basically just a kind of lo-fi, grindy, horrible sound. But again, if you're looking for cool hip-hop beat sounds, the trash could be your best friend. And we also have some attack, hold, and decay if we want to mess with the envelope a little. So you can do things like get the attack portion of, say, the acoustic, and then get the decay of the electronics. Let's try that actually. So we'll get the lots of attack. Maybe chop that. So we're just getting the hit, and then I'll move to my electronic one. I'll just get the shh from that, mix the two. And you get the general gist. Okay, so back to our electronic layer. You can see that we have a filter and an offset. So the filter is easy to explain. I'll show you that one. Just a filter. The offset is actually, you can see there it says milliseconds. So just basically what this does is it nudges the sample to the right a little bit, delays it just a little bit. So basically, if you want the two sounds to sync up or be slightly delayed from one another, so let's listen to the two together and adjust this control. Okay. Okay, we've also got tuning for each of the individual ones. You can go up or down 7 semitones. You can make all sorts of horrible sounds like that. I think you can't double click to reset it. Sad, and you can control click. There we go. Control click to reset. Okay. Right, so we also have some effects which will affect both the acoustic and electronic. It affects the output of this whole section. So basically these two sounds are then combined and they go through some effects. So we've got a transient processor. These are easier to demonstrate than explain. I have a very basic compressor. I would have liked some more controls on this, to be honest. doing almost nothing on this sound, to be honest. We have saturator, sorry. We want to get some nice grit. And we have a basic EQ as well, and then we have a send to our reverb. So our reverb is up here. If we click on up here, we get a selection of different reverbs, studios, chambers, yada yada. I've never noticed this before, so I'm going to click on that. Alright, yeah, it's just a way to jump to them quickly. Okay, yeah, so you can get different types of sounds. Crank lots of reverb on there. Big vocal chamber, club, a bit tighter. Very Moorish plate. Very cool. Right, so that is the general gist of the sound blending. You can do this with all your different sounds. You can see your toms, with some of the shakers and the wood blocks and the cymbals. You don't get the option of 2. You just get a handful of choices, which is a bit disappointing, really. I would have liked to see more choices in there. And you can also apply a bunch of effects to your overheads in your room if you want to compress the living crap out of your room mics to make everything really big, punchy, and in your face. And then your master controls again with some effects. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so we have some options. If you want to just mess around with your mapping and your velocity curves, you can do it here. But for most users, probably won't mess around with this too much. This bit, however, is a bit more interesting. This is the groove section. So if, like me, you suck at playing the pads, you can get some grooves and get some sounds and beats really quickly. So up here, if we start on the left, we have 4 different. In the manual, it calls these genres, which is kind of odd. I've never listened to the tight genre of music before, but hey, let's choose that. And then we have, let's see, you can choose one of these. We get a rough idea of the tempo that it's at. Of course, these will all adjust as MIDI. They will all adjust to the tempo of your session. But this gives you a rough gist of where they were recorded or what they sound good at. So let's choose 124 because our BPM is currently 135. Tell you what, let's go to 133 BPM platinum because why not? Click on double click on that and we'll get a beat going. Like that. Okay, so once you have found a beat that you like, what you can do is use this tiny button, which should be absolutely huge, and if you click on it, you'll notice that behind here, we have now basically imported that MIDI file. So we can then go in, we can edit, we can add extra notes, we can move them around, we can quantize, not quantize, humanize, we can do whatever the hell we want with those. So again, you can choose different beat. Let's take this one here. Pause that, and if I click, see where I want it over there, and hit go, it will throw it onto a new one. So you can actually drag it there. I think you can actually drag and drop directly from here. Let's try that. Drag and drop. Oops, I think I've accidentally overwritten something. There we go. You can drag and drop in there, and as I say, you can then go around and edit those and copy and paste bits you like, chop out bits you don't like. So it's a great way to just build up some beats. I jam a lot in my room when it's like 2 in the morning. I've got my headphones on, I plug my guitar in to get some guitar rig going. I throw some beats from Drumlab into a session and just jam along and try and come up with ideas that way, which is very cool. You can also do some basic other stuff. You can kind of mess with the tightness, which basically will try and pull all the sounds a wee bit closer to the grid, which you can then define. You can add a bit of swing if you want to kind of push or pull the track a little bit off the beat, or you can pull down the velocity to make things nice and chill. So let's try that. So you can get a bit more of a chilled out beat, or you can turn it up. And it will increase the average velocity of the notes to give it a much harder feel. And then you can also half your tempo or double your tempo. I am going to do an experiment because I've not tried this before. I don't know if I drag these in, what it's going to look like. So let's go to normal. I want to see if that tempo changes. So okay, so we've got that there, so that was our normal. Go to ×2, and drag that one in. And it does, yeah, it does copy across the changes there. Cool, so very groovy. So let's go back to the sounds again. And just try and addition some of the sounds. So basically up here, again, we have our quote-unquote genre of sounds. So if you just want to get some presets to get some beats going quickly, you can choose some presets. So let's try dirty. It's going to load up some samples. You can see it loading into memory up here. And here, once it's finished loading, there it goes. Here we have some presets within that genre. So let's try shed, because that sounds like a garden shed. That's a really strange name for anything. So let that load in until, let's go back to our grooves and listen to that beat playing. Okay, let's try a different preset within the dirty. Let's go to blap, because that maybe means something. If you know what that means, put it in the comments, because I have no idea what that means. It sounds like someone being sick out of their eyeballs. And load it in. Cool, so try a different genre. Let's go to smooth. I'm not going to choose smack that, because that sounds terrible. Let's go clean power. Let's go for that. Give that a sec to load in. So you can see how quick the different genres this thing covers is pretty amazing. Ooh, check out cowbell. Pretty cool. So you can see what they're going for when they say the modern production sound. They're getting the hybrid of the acoustic drums, but also with a very sort of a very electronic, artificial edge to give it that really big sound. So all in all, I really like Drumlab. It's a lot of fun. I say I'm a bit disappointed with the fact there's only a couple of symbols for each one. That seems like a real oversight, especially when you consider the sample libraries that Native Instruments have access to. You think they would have pinched some from some of the other sample libraries. That's a bit of a shame, but it's quick to get a lot of sounds going, and me, that's what I like. I tend to try and just get a sound that I like, and then I jam to it, and then I worry about tweaking it later. So all in all, I really like Drumlab. It is a lot of fun, and I say the fact that you can drag and drop your grooves in, so you can throw them in here if you just want to get some loops going to jam to or to work with. Or if you're like me and hate recording to a click track, you can instead record to a drum beat instead, which is much more natural to me, and I feel like I play better and less robotic when I'm playing to drums. So Drumlab is a lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of... This isn't an episode of anything, I don't know what this is. Anyway, hope you enjoyed today's video. My name has been Mark Hanson Audio. Please like, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Adios.